ביאור משנה ד' explanation for משנה ד' משנתנו היא המשך המשנה הקודמת. This is the continuation of the previous משנה. והיא באה ללמד, it comes to teach, מתי מבטלים רשות? Here's the question. Usually, when do you find out that you didn't make an Eruv? After Shabbos comes in. That's usually, I forgot to make Eruv. Because nothing reminds you.
What a question.
Yeah, usually that's what happens, right? Yeah, but the problem is, how can you do it after Shabbos? That's a really
But it has to happen after Shabbos.
Yeah, usually that's when you find out. Yeah, you forgot, that's right. So maybe you can do it just before Shabbat. Maybe you have to do the bitul. Oh, I forgot to make. And if you didn't do it before Shabbat, it's too late. You didn't bring the food.
It doesn't solve your problem.
No, it does.
This is for people that didn't do the Eruv.
You don't have time to get the bread to put it in his house, but you do have the time to go and say, hey guys, it's all yours. Maybe that's the case. Let's see. Im davka be'erev Shabbat, we're going to have two options over here. Do you have to do the nullification before Shabbos comes in? Or afilu beShabbat? Or you can do it even in Shabbat. Let's see. ונחלקו בזה בית שמאי ובית הלל. And this is a disagreement between the house of Shammai and the house of Hillel. כן דנה המשנה, also the Mishnah talks about, במי שביטל רשותו, somebody that nullified his reshut, his courtyard, and then we see him taking out things to the courtyard. What happens is, I say I nullify to you the courtyard, which means I'm not allowed to take from my house to the courtyard, and then I started doing it. What happens in that case? Okay, everybody ready? מאימתי נותנים רשות? From when do we give permission to the other people in the courtyard to use it? המבטל רשותו לדיירי החצר. The one says that I don't have any belonging in the courtyard. כפי ששינינו במשנה הקודמת, like we said in the previous Mishnah. מתי הוא מבטל? When should he do it? בית שמאי אומרים, the house of Shammai says, מבעוד יום, you have to do it when it's still Friday. On Shabbos you can do it. בערב שבת. אבל בשבת אסור לבטל רשות. But what are you making? You selling and buying your property on Shabbat? You can do that. The house of Shammai says, what's that? What's this thing? On Shabbat you can do it. ובית הלל אומרים, but the house of Hillel says, not a problem. You can do it on Shabbat. מי שחשכה. You're allowed to do it when it's dark. Yeah, you can do it after Shabbat.
Otherwise, you can use it, this halacha.
You can.
If you can do it after Shabbos, what do you need this halacha for?
Because a lot of times.
Just for a guy that maybe a second before Shabbos remember it.
No, usually that's when it's going to happen. You have to remember practically. A person before Shabbat says, they prepare everything, and his wife says, you forgot to do the Eruv. How many times your wife, in the Shemasa the court, in the 80 minutes, says, do this, do this, do this, do this. This is usually when it happens. So the guy says it's possible that it's during that time that when your wife says, hey, you forgot to do the Eruv. He says, you can still do it, quickly, do it. You don't have the time to take the bread, but you can make the bitul. That's what Bet Shammai says.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. מי שחשכה. כלומר, אף מי שתחשך. The בית הלל says you're allowed to do it also after it's dark. בגמרא מבואר טעם מחלקותם. In the Gemara it explains what are they arguing about. שלדעת בית שמאי says, look at the way they're thinking. The house of Shammai, ביטול רשות הרי הוא כהקניית רשות. It says, בית שמאי says, you know what's happening? When you're nullifying your possession, you are causing all the other people to buy his possession. That's all you're doing. You're making them buy what belongs to him.
Buy or take.
Take on Shabbos. In other words, to buy something on Shabbat, to take something on Shabbat. They have a kinyan on Shabbos. That's what you're causing.
Question why you call it kinyan rather than call it present.
Present on Shabbos, that's fine. Whatever. Call it a present.
Present on Shabbos is fine. Kinyan on Shabbos is not fine.
I don't know if a present on Shabbos is fine. We didn't discuss this. Yeah.
Okay.
Even a present will be a problem. Yeah. But over here it's a kinyan. It becomes theirs. And I'll tell you practical halacha. Somebody breaks his leg a guest comes and breaks his leg. Who are you going to sue? Are you going to sue everybody? Or are you going to sue everybody except him? So he's going to say, you can't sue me, I didn't have a part in the courtyard. And they're going to say, so you are buying something. And that's exactly, it's practical. So you bought something. Yeah? So you can see, you actually bought something. So that's what Bet Shammai says. ואסור להקנות רשות בשבת. And said, you're not allowed to buy something on Shabbat. And even the house of Hillel says, you're not allowed to buy. The house of Hillel says you're allowed to buy.
The question if it's a buy.
Oh.
The question they can come and say, this is not a buy somehow.
ולדעת בית הלל, according to the house of Hillel, אין פשוט רשות, אלא הסתלקויות של אדם רשתו. He says, I'm not buying anything, they're not buying. All I'm doing is I'm taking myself away out of it. Nobody's buying.
Yeah.
All I am, now it belongs to everybody, I say it doesn't belong to me. That's it. I'm not, there's no, all I'm doing is nullifying something. I'm not, there's no, there
is no
that's a
gaining of
I'm just taking myself out of the situation. Out of the idea of it. ומותר לאדם להסתלק מרשותו אף בשבת, and a person is allowed to say, my house doesn't belong to me also on Shabbat. There's no buying and selling. I didn't tell you to buy. You bought automatically because it belongs to everybody. All I did is I took myself out of the situation. It's like I died. I died automatically. It belongs to everybody else. Okay? Whatever the situation is. Okay. So this is the disagreement between the house of Shammai and the house of Hillel. Okay? So far so good. It's a strange one, by the way. House of Shammai, a house of Hillel is very strange. Do you know why it's very strange? I don't know if it's going to discuss it over here, but I'm going to bring why it's strange.
Why?
All the rules that we learned about Shabbat, when Shabbos kicks in, that's what it is. You remember we learned with the Ner. Right. When Shabbos kicks in and the candle was on the table, now you cannot move the table. Right? And all of this.
The candle.
That's right. So when Shabbos over here, it's Beit Hillel says something else. When Shabbos kicks in, it was belong to you. The property belonged to you. You can ask Beit Hillel. He says yes. What happened? Once it kicks in, that's it. Even after the candle is off, you're not allowed to move the table. The candle is not lighting. You're not allowed to move the table. It's basis. We learned that.
You don't do a physical thing.
But still, the whole idea of Shabbos that we learned is when it comes in. Yeah. So it's Beit Hillel is a bit. Yeah, Beit Hillel is hard over here. I'm not quite sure. Maybe the Gemara discusses it. I'm not quite sure. But you can see why it's hard logically. Okay. Finish that part. Mi shenatan reshuto. The next case is somebody gave away his part of the courtyard, and then we see him using it. So what does it mean? מי שנתן רשותו, ביטל רשותו שבחצר לשכניו. He nullified his part in the courtyard to his neighbors. And in other words, he's not allowed now to use the courtyard.
They're allowed.
They're allowed. He's not allowed. And then the people, the guests, everybody else sees him, he's using it. He's taking things in and out to the courtyard. והוציא. And then he takes it out. את כליו לשם. קודם שהחזיקו בו חבריו. And you remember we had this. He puts the vessels over there before the other people put their vessels in the courtyard. Okay. ונמצא חוזר מביטולו משתמש ברשותו. And we found out, he gave you the permission, he says it's yours, and now he's saying it's not mine, and now he's saying he is mine. So in other words, his action now is more than his words. He's saying in action more than he's saying in his words. So maybe we don't have nullification, or maybe we do have nullification, and that's a problem between him and God. I don't know how it works. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Ben b'shogeg, whether he made it by mistake because he forgot he did the nullification, Ben שהוציא בשוגג, כגון ששכח שביטל רשותו, which is possible, he forgot that he nullified his רשות, Ben במזיד, whether he did it on purpose, Ben שהוציא במזיד, that he wanted to do it, even though he knew it was not allowed. שנתכוון לחזור מביטולו, he meant to return from his nullification, הרי זה אוסר על השכנים להוציא ולהכניס מבתיהם לחצר. He prohibits on everybody. Once he's doing it, that's it. Everybody is gone. Everybody is done. Because he's saying, I'm not nullifying it. But Beshogeg is, I understand B'mezid, he's saying I'm not nullifying over it. But Beshogeg, he's not saying I'm not nullifying it, he just forgot. Why is it nullified? This is Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is according to Rabbi Meir. Because Rabbi Meir oser shogeg mishum mezid. Rabbi Meir says the truth is it's only if he was on purpose doing it, b'mezid. I should prohibit it on everybody. If he did it b'shogeg, I shouldn't. But you know what? I'm going to, because it
doesn't look good to you.
Exactly. Everybody's going to see. This week it's going to be, and this week it's going to be shogeg. Next week it's going to be mazid. You can't do it. So once you do it, I don't care. You shogeg, you mazid. I'm nullifying. כדי שלא יבואו להתיר גם ממזיד כשהוא חוזר מביטולו. Because if this week it was בשוגג and you allow them to carry out, next week he's going to do it במזיד, they will also think they're allowed to carry out and in and out. So therefore, I don't care why he did it. Doesn't work. Rabbi Yehuda אומר, Rabbi Yehuda says no, במזיד, אם הוציא במזיד אוסר, if he did it on purpose, he took back the property, על הדיירים לטטל בחצר, and then nobody else can use the courtyard, והוא שהוציא כליו לפני שהחזיקו בו, and also him, that he took out his instruments before that they held in it, אבל אם החזיקו קודם, but if they held it first, שהוציא כליו שוב אינו יכול לחזור מביטולו. It says, no, once they grabbed it, that's it. It says, and now you have a problem with God. You don't have a problem with us. That's your problem.
Sense.
Yeah. בשוגג, אבל אם הוציא בשוגג, אינו אוסר עליהם. And if he took בשוגג, even before them, he didn't, there's not a problem. Even before them, there's not a problem. Why? Because he didn't nullify it, he made a mistake. What do you want from him? וכן הלכה. And also the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, that says only בשוגג is not it's a problem, but במזיד, only שוגג it is not a problem, במזיד it is a problem.